All right, we are live again. Burbank Card Show Day 4. Hello, everyone that's live streaming at home. Hello to our hundreds of beautiful audience members that are sitting in these chairs. Yeah. So, no, it's good to be back. Just about starting to wrap this thing up. I'm feeling like it's ready to be wrapped.
We get that move out there. When you do a show that's this long, man, like what ends up happening is by that fourth day as a dealer, you're sluggish. You probably picked last night to be up late, right? That's usually the play. And then from there you start and you're like, you start looking at your watch a little more often than you were the days before.
I know we had Collecticon before, so it's like 2 weeks now, 11 days away from the family. I'm like, I think I'm ready to go home.
Time to travel back home.
Yeah, exactly. No, but just so everyone watching those, excited to sit down with Steve Johnson. Most of you guys know Steve from his endeavors on a little show. Can't remember what it was called. No, Pawn Stars. You were the toy expert, right? On Pawn Stars for a while.
Yeah, I'm actually still currently on the show. Right now we're doing a program called Pawn Stars Hits the Road, traveling to different markets, getting out there and getting the fan and the collector to bring their items to the guys. And then from time to time, they need us to come to a city, and we come to a city and get to be part of the program, and it's great. And,
very cool.
And then they're bringing back, I think it's season 22 of Pawn Stars. We'll start filming that.
That's crazy, man. I remember those first couple seasons.
Yeah,
too,
so I'm 7 years in, 9 seasons of a Pawn Stars program, and
wow,
it's still a monster. It's right up there with it's crazy to think that it's it and The Simpsons still
the longest
on the
running.
number of it's insane.
It's crazy. I mean, it's entertaining, it really is. So, and they've kept it entertaining. So, I mean, mainly when you came on is when it's most entertaining for sure. But no, we're not talking about Pawn Stars today with Steve.
Not today.
We are actually talking about something new he's got going on that's pretty cool, and I think it's needed in the hobby. So, tell us a little bit about what you got going on at Prothenticate.
Yeah, so
what we're doing over there.
Yeah, so Prothenticate, what we did is, look, I was working with a company called Neverland Labs, and they had a die-cast component, a die-cast item, a toy that they were bringing to market, but they wanted to be more collector-based. Right. And it needed to be a legacy die-cast piece. So while most of the higher-end stuff in the marketplace was $30, $40 retail pieces, their stuff was $150 to $200. And what they did was they created a digital component, gave you proof of authenticity of that item. And it was a simple, very easy play. You tap the chip that's attached to the item. You would take you to a link. You would enter your phone number. You enter your email address. It would create a wallet for you. And you would now have this NFT that was created for the item. Right. And seeing their concept and seeing what they were doing, I was helping produce the Diecast Super Convention. And I just kind of got behind their brand and kind of helped them with getting their brand going and getting to come to market. Brand new company, and they were really, really willing to look. Now, I say brand new. They're 7 years into the tech side. Right. So it's new to Diecast, but they were not new at all. And so once we started having these conversations, and it was really funny, and I got to tell this story because I just think it's great. Kurt Zenzian, who is one of the founders of Neverland Labs, he and I would end up having really late night conversations. He's from Florida, like you. Yeah. And me being on the West Coast, 1 o'clock in the morning one night, I'm sitting there, I'm clicking my mouse at my dad. I don't even know what I'm doing, right? At this point, I'm just kind of clicking, and it just clicks with me. And I send him a text, and I said, I figured out how we're going to bring Neverland to the digital market, like to the collectible market. Yeah. And it's 4 o'clock Eastern in the morning, and he texts me back, and he's like, bro, I was asleep, but I'm listening. And I'm like, all right. And so we started having the conversation, and essentially what it is that we've created a digital component that goes with your physical item to protect and authenticate your actual item. So what we've done is we've created with the NFT tap technology where you can actually tap, claim that NFT. That NFT is a one of a kind. It's a one of one NFT that belongs to that physical item. So we'll be accepting items that'll be slabbed with serial numbers, or items that can be tracked with serial numbers, or physical items that we can incorporate the chip into that will remain with it.
Okay.
So eventually we'll get into things like handbags, shoes, clothing items. They've already done hats, right? So hats with the tap technology in it.
Yeah.
But essentially what it is, it's really to create one, proof of authenticity. What happens a lot of times, like I think the thing that really stood out to me was the Michael Jordan slabs, right? There's a handful of those out there,
Right.
that are all the same serial number and are all the same, and every one of them is a fake card, and no two are alike, and the cards are always something wrong with them or whatever it is. So we're doing is we're saying, look, like these commonly faked items, these items that we can't reference against the registry, we're going to go ahead and do the research, make sure that's right and everything. Two, be able to authenticate those items, that now it has a tamper-proof sticker. It's attached to the item. If you tamper with that sticker, then you should not accept that is. But then it physically attaches that NFT to them. So it will go directly to that NFT. Okay. Not route you through another site, not do anything like that. It'll take you to that trophy case. It will tell you who the owner of that trophy case is. And then there's even a registry that takes it further, that you can see all the steps of where everything's been. You'll be able to toggle on and off your item if it's missing or you can't locate it. You'll be able to flag it like that, which also is important too, because now if you're a dealer buying somewhere and hey, it's been Prothenticated, and I tap it and it pops up and it says, hey, this is missing from
from this collection,
John B. Good's collection, you're going to know that this, at some point, somebody took this and wasn't supposed to. So you'll have that as well. Then you can flex your trophy case, of course, be able to show off the cards that you do have that are Prothenticated. Right. You'll be able to do all of that, and it's relatively easy for anybody to be able to use. It's as simple as you'll come to a show, you'll drop your submission off, just like you might with one of the grading companies. You'll drop it off at the show. Within a couple of hours, we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it into an NFT. It's going to be minted. You're going to come back, tap it with your device, claim it, enter your phone number, enter your email, attach it to your trophy case, and you're going to be off and rocking.
Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. So tell me what does it look like? So it sounds like the registration process is fairly easy.
Yes.
Tell me what the transfer process looks like. So let's say, we're transferring, I trade a card, right? We trade. Mine's, a Prothenticate NFT. Yours isn't. What does that trade process look like, or transfer process?
Yeah. So essentially, what you're going to do is, if you trade it to someone, if they don't have that, you're going to set that up to be able to be claimed.
Okay.
So then you're going to toggle on the ability to be able to claim it. Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, you're going to go into your trophy case. You're going to select that card, and you're going to say, "This is available to be claimed." Then what happens is they're going to take it, they're going to tap it, and they're going to set their trophy case up just like you did, and be able to immediately transfer it directly over to them.
Okay.
Or two, you'll be able to use the exchangeable marketplace that we'll have. And this will be a tool. It'll be very easy for sellers to be able to sell their item. And essentially what they'll do is they'll sell their item, instantly transfer the NFT to the buyer, right? So they instantly get it. And then we'll provide a shipping label to the seller that they'll be able to use to ship the item.
Okay.
And then that way the transaction stays all within the platform, makes it really easy for them to do. But you're not locked to us. If you want to transfer that NFT off, you can transfer it off platform. You absolutely can. Once you do that, though, it's now no longer. Now it's going to sit, your space is going to sit empty when you tap it. But it's hosted on the Solana blockchain. So we are allowing it, because if it does have a physical and digital value component, you'll be able to use that. Thing is, though, the intentions are for the two of them to operate together.
Okay.
So you're, in a perfect world, you want to keep things in your trophy case, transfer them when it's time. And then if they're already set up, then it'll be as simple as you hitting transfer and then punching in whatever their trophy case, their username is, and you'll be able to transfer it to them instantly from your account.
So does the NFT always have to accompany the card, or can those be separated as well? To say, I have the NFT version, but who has the physical version? What's that look like? Right.
So at some point, we anticipate that's going to happen, right? And when that does, the only thing that we're going to be able to do to be able to know that actually happened is when a recipient contacts us and says, "Hey, I have that card, but not the NFT."
Yeah.
Right. Then obviously we'll contact the owner of the NFT and say, hey, this card is out there. And that person might go, oh, well, that came up stolen and I didn't realize. Or it might be, oh, yeah, I sold that at a show and whatever. And then they'll be able to transfer it over to them. The idea here is purely to make sure that components, we'd really like them to stay together.
Right.
We don't want to force you to have to keep them together, though. Some people just want the fact that they want to be able to flex it. They want to be able to show it off or whatever it is. But being that it's on the blockchain, it's digitally protected there. We've also, on like 5 different layers, have gone behind and added all kinds of extra layers of protections on transfers and all kinds of stuff. Things to avoid, hacking and those things that you would be, concerned about as far as that goes. All those security measures are in place. Everything's been done. As I mentioned, although this tech to this hobby or the collectible market is new, this tech has been in development for 7 years now. These guys have been working hard on it, and they've got some incredible components. And they've got some other really great components that they've been working on that they're doing within the Neverland Labs model that will eventually transfer over to the Prothenticate side too.
Yeah, because I could definitely see from an NFT standpoint. Now, I have my personal opinions on NFTs.
Yeah,
that everybody does, but I personally don't think NFTs are going to be what people think they are going to be in the future. I think NFTs are going to be used much more as a, not as a collection, but more of a currency. Okay. So like, in other words, like, hey, like, you got to have this NFT to get in this event, or you got to have this NFT to buy this certain thing, or you have to be to get into certain, private events or clubs or you name it. I think it's going to be more currency based. I could be wrong. It's just my personal opinion, but I do think that with what you guys are doing, there could potentially be people that are not interested at all in the physical aspect and only want that NFT version. Kind of like we're seeing with like, the NFL, what's the digital NFL guy? I can't think of what it is now. I'm blanking. But, you can have that moment, those NFL moments, kind of like was at the Mint. They had that set up.
Yeah, just like they did with Top Shot in the NBA.
Yeah, Top Shot, yeah. So I think holding that digital aspect, I think NFTs are going to be a little bit more that, where you're going to have certain young collectors that are looking for the digital aspect and may not be as interested in the physical. And so trying to separate them and trying to figure out how to separate the physical from the NFT and what accompanies what could be interesting in the future, because I do think you're going to have collectors that want physical and you're going to have collectors that are going to lean more towards digital or NFT.
Well, you have to first off, let me explain. I am, the buy sell trade guy. I've been doing that since I was 16. Right. And my whole background has been, what is this worth? What is this worth? And the entire marketplace has looked at NFTs as to what are they worth?
Right.
And I sat there for 2 years. I sat down. Gentleman's name's Travis Pyan. He's with McFarlane Toys. I remember sitting with him one night. We're having a drink, and he and I downloaded Top Shot, bought Top Shots, opened up packages, and played with the concept.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is great. This is cool. But at the end of the day, how is this going to retain value?
Right.
And I said, to me, it's not about what the NFT is worth, but what is the value of the NFT? And I think that sparring moment for me, and look, I'd love for Gary to tell me different. I hope he can, but I really feel like Gary Vee stumbled into it.
Yeah.
Right. And that was when he created VeeFriends, he put out like, hey, one of the utility aspects we should offer is just let's let people have access to come to the VCon. Right. Let's make that a thing. There's my utility. You can come to VCon because you were one of the ones that supported early and you can come. I don't think he anticipated what the value of that NFT was going to turn into, which was if he had real interest in VCon, then that now monetarily was worth what?
Yeah.
The sky is endless, right? So last year, most people don't know this, the last Burbank Card Show, I guess it was this year, but the last one we did, we created an NFT. This was something that I did on purpose while I was hedging this out. And we brought it to market at the trade night. And we did it with Talon Sports Cards. We took a piece of Talon Sports Cards video from the first Burbank show. And we partnered with Game Day and Roadshow on it. And we made it claimable by QR code at the trade night.
I remember that.
Okay, we had 76 claims during the trade night, right? 76 people claimed it. What they don't know is that at any time, Game Day, Roadshow, Talon, ourselves can go and add utility to their ownership of that NFT at any point.
Right.
And one of the discussions we had was there's an opportunity that in the future, that NFT could be your line pass for trade night at the National.
Yeah, VIP event.
Or,
yeah,
right.
It, yeah.
So I always sat here and I'm sitting with Travis from McFarland and I looked at him and I said, this can't be about the value. It has to, or the price. It has to be about what is the value of the NFT and how does that component work? So we'd started having that conversation and McFarland went and partnered and did some NFTs and they got a nice NFT project on their site for their toys and everything. And it's great and it's doing well. But I went in a think tank about this and I was, every time I turned around, I'm like, how am I going to create value on NFT? Because to me, I was like you. I wasn't buying the NFTs to think that I was going to hold something that was going to be worth something down the road.
Yeah.
Right. It had to have additional utility to it. So when I was looking at that and then I meet up with Neverland Labs and I start talking to them about some of the things that they wanted to do out of the tech side that was interesting, it started to spur these value components to me. And that's where I started looking at it. And I said, hey, you know what is a huge value is that if I can actually sell a card, being from Las Vegas, to a guy in New York, and I don't have to go through the whole process of joining a group on a social marketplace saying, hey, could I get references that I'm good to do a deal with?
Yeah.
But instead I can say, look, my item's prothenticated. When you pay me, I'm going to transfer you the item, proof of digital ownership. I can now give you the proof that you digitally own this, which is something that you never had in that exchangeable marketplace by itself.
Yeah.
Was the value of what we're doing.
Yeah. And it's, it's interesting. I mean, there's really only one other company in the industry that's doing anything like this, and that's Veriswap.
Yep.
And, I just talked to Raymond yesterday, and they're staying away from the authentication piece. Like, they don't want to do that. Yeah. They just want to be the middleman, which is totally fine. And we need that in the hobby too, right?
Of course.
But I think there's another element to what you guys are doing in terms of, look, there's an actual physical transfer of, of a property via registration, via, I'm assuming you guys are using NFC technology, so when you're moving or transferring ownership and there's a physical transfer and not just a middleman saying, okay, this card matches what you said, this card matches what you said, you're swapping, right? So, and now you're looking at an actual purchase of saying, look, even if I'm buying, that there's going to be a transfer of ownership, a physical transfer of ownership that's actually documented. Yeah, that's I don't know of anything that's even touched that yet. So
and that's why we wanted to take it to that point, because we knew that, like, look, do you know how much faster the eBay authentication program would be for shoes?
Yeah.
If they were prothenticated?
Yep.
Because right now, if you sell shoes
you gotta wait
on the
3
platform,
weeks. You got to wait 3 weeks to get your sneakers. Yeah.
Now it's as simple as saying this item's prothenticated, and now they can either still middle that or allow the end user to utilize it. But either way, it's an easier process. It clears way quicker, right? Yep. Well, those are items and those are components that we're going to be able to offer. So going down the road, those are the things that we're really looking at. That, I'll be honest with you, I'm most excited in the fact that, like, the Gucci purses and stuff like that,
some of the
that are going to be able to
stuff,
be easily authenticated through this process, and to be able to verify it in the touch of your phone. If you think about that and how easy of process that is, and it's as simple as you tap it, the link comes up, I tap it, and it is there. Boom. And then I can blow the item up at 5,000 times value and see any imperfection. I make sure that it's exactly that item. I mean, that's tough to do, and that's what we're going to present. That's what we're going to provide. So we'll provide both the online and an app. We'll have the marketplace you'll be able to exchange in. And then we'll also have in-person submissions at events.
I like it, dude. That's powerful. I think the like I said, there's not really anything else going on in the industry from a technology standpoint that is close. From a trade perspective, like I said, Veriswap, but there's no authentication piece there. So to document the registered transfer, I think is the biggest aspect that's going to change.
Well, it's something that could be there too. And Veriswap, I hope you're listening. Now, because we've got a good relationship with them and built with them so far.
I was going to say, there could be a partnership there too. Yeah.
The cohesiveness could be as simple as Veriswap turning around and having us Prothenticate all the traded items.
Yeah.
That could be part of the process. And if that's the case,
Noah,
right?
Are you guys listening right?
Because if that's part of the process, then that is exactly it.
Yeah.
Now you can Prothenticate it right then and there. And now it's done. And now that transfer is even more, easy for them to conduct and easy to do.
Yep.
And that, level of that level of security is there. And at the end of the day, I mean, look, whether it's a $5 card or a $5,000 card, right? I've always treated those cards the exact same. That's someone's collectible. And that's how I look at it in my world. In fact, when I had opened retail stores, I remember that I would force our staff to polybag every single loose toy, no matter what.
Yeah.
Dollar bin, 500 figure off the board. I go, why? I said, because that's someone's collectible. That's that one item or two items or five items that they wanted to put in their collection, buy, or could afford. And I didn't want the guy that spent $500 on a figure to get a different treatment than the guy that got a dollar toy.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to finish a collection and you got something that's sitting out there, in a dollar bin, and that's the completion of your collection, that's what you got to look at it like.
Well,
that's
it's a value and feel too, that that
well, the value is going to be
valued.
placed. Yeah, the value is placed by the person that values
exactly,
it, right?
And
Not
who
by the
knows what
person
that's worth? That to me could be the most sentimental thing in the world.
Yeah,
like in my personal collection, like one of the things that I have that's just sentimental. It's not the most expensive collectible in the world. It's a Brave Star Neutra laser from the cartoon series Brave Star. It lasted one season, but I had that gun when I was a kid for like 2 years. Ran around with the cool Brave Star gun, right? So I have one in my collection now. It's not the most expensive item. It's the most important item in my collection to me.
Yeah.
It just is. It was my childhood. So you never know when people feel like that. And when they do, we want that. Well, you build that security. And I want also to kind of avoid people getting scammed, because that's my other real concern is that the hobby space has turned where there's a lot of negativity because of that. Yeah. And I just try not to have that happen. And so, because of that, we're always looking for an opportunity to have where, you feel secure about your transaction, feel good about it. You're going to be able to, make a better trade and feel good about it.
When you can cut down on fraud and scam and all this different stuff, that's good for the hobby. It makes people feel more comfortable. Money flows easier. It's just good for all of us. So
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Steve, man, thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad we got to chat about it. I'm excited to see where you guys are heading. So I'm going to keep a close eye out. And, what's the roadmap look like for you guys? What is the launch date, release date?
So right now we're looking end of first quarter, beginning second quarter of 2024. We will take in-person submissions. You'll be able to come out and bring your item to us. We'll have, an hour turnaround, couple hour turnaround, and by end of show turnarounds that you'll be able to do. You'll have some options. We'll be starting around $15 for a submission, and then you'll have a percentage based on overall value. Again, we're protecting your assets. Remember, there's a little bit more, going into it. Registry should launch sometime during 2024. Marketplace should launch sometime during 2024. And then we've got, during 2025, we've got some expectations on some additional utilities or features that'll be added. So we're excited to look at all those opportunities and see where it goes. But, it looks like March is probably where we're going to be, and that's kind of what we're targeting for. I'll tell you now, we could have taken submissions this weekend. We're ready. We're not trying to get this ready.
Yeah.
We're trying to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
And that's what was important to us. So.
Yeah, no, understood. Well, thanks again. Excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure you check out Prothenticate. If you want to watch the replay of this, go to Hobbzi.com. You can watch the replays. Hobbzi.live. We'll be live again on the floor a little bit later doing a couple things. So we'll catch you guys then. Thanks so much.